Suprabhat, Jai Hind friends. An update on the Israel Hamas war. Now, first point is it is no longer a conflict, it is an outright war. Although Israel has not launched a full scale land incursion into Gaza, it is an outright war, make no mistake about that. Now, this war has been fought on two fronts. One is the military front, in which Israel is conducting its air raids into Gaza, into Lebanon, and also it has conducted limited land raids into both these places. And likewise, the Hamas and Hezbollah, they are firing rockets into Israel. The other is the diplomatic front. You see, this war is being fought extensively in the diplomatic front as well. The entire Arab world, including the so called neutral countries, so called limited allies of Israel in Jordan and Egypt, they have also gone totally against Israel. The entire Muslims globally have gone against Israel and in favor of Hamas. The entire Arab world has come together in support of Hamas, as was evident in United Nations recently. Anti-Semitic rallies have taken place in US, in Canada, in European countries, basically globally. The latest one being, in a Russian airport, where a large number of protesters, they basically rampaged the entire Russian airport. Now, I want to bring out two, 3 points here. I see as the days have progressed, we have realized the seriousness of the Israeli failure in analyzing this threat. No, I am not talking about the intelligence part. That as this, they failed miserably because they just failed to realize this threat. The Hamas attack coming onto them. I want to talk about two things here. One is the extensive tunnel network. You see, Hamas, they have built such an extensive tunnel network inside Gaza. It is such elaborate tunnel network. It runs into hundreds of kilometers. This is where Hamas have kept the 250 odd hostages in small groups, in various tunnels. That is why it is becoming so difficult to identify the exact location of all these hostages, and for Israel to conduct special forces operations to free them from Hamas grip. The other is that, you see, in spite of such large scale air raids into Gaza, the Hamas, they still have so many rockets and locations from which they are firing these rockets into Israel. That is the nature of their preparedness, which they have undertaken before this war broke out. And on both these two counts, Israel has failed. Firstly, in analyzing the tunnel network, and also in analyzing the stockpiling of weapons and ammunition by Hamas. And this has been a very, very serious failure on the part of Israel. Now, what is happening is, you see, there is a lot of diplomatic pressure from the EU, from the US. And mind you, US and EU are the two major contributors to humanitarian aid to Gaza. And it is only part of this humanitarian aid which goes into buying of these weapons also. Make no mistake about that as well. Now, what is happening is that the international pressure is there on Israel not to go in for a land incursion. This is one aspect why this has got delayed. The other aspect is that the other point of consideration is that Israel doesn't have full intelligence as of now on the location of various Hamas groups, on the location of various tunnels, the layout of the tunnels, the location of the hostages in these various tunnels. Because, like I said, the hostages have been kept in small groups. So, that is why this land incursion has gotten delayed. Yes, the Israeli PM has said we are not going to negotiate. We are going to go in for an outright war. The pressure is on them also from the relatives of the hostages, saying that no, you negotiate and get back our people. So, a lot of pressure on the Israeli government. On the other hand, US is also pressuring the Israel, although this had not taken place earlier. You see, the US President Joe Biden has said, I'm not going to stop or hold back Israelis from a all-out war, all-out land incursion. Now, US is saying, go in, but civilians should not be killed. Humanitarian aid should flow through, and all those things. So the narrative is slowly changing. Slightly, it has changed from about a week or 10 days back. So now things are becoming more difficult for Israel. Like I said, one, they don't have the intelligence about the tunnel network, about the location of Hamas fighters, about the location of hostages. The other is the international pressure which is coming on Israel. So, with of course, along with that, the Iran threat, Iran saying that they're going to get into the war, Syria saying they're going to get into the war. So all those things, and China sending its couple of warships into the area, because you see, after all, China has been quiet, but it wants to sort of position itself in such a way that, so should a situation so arise, it should be a main player in the negotiation that takes place. So this is what is happening now. I myself, I believe that Israel lost that opportunity, that window for a land incursion which it had about 10 days back. Now this land incursion, if it takes place, which I still feel is going to take place, it will take place in a very limited way. Because remember, I like I said in my earlier video also, that this is the most dangerous form of fibua, that is fighting in built up areas. If Israel goes in, it has to firstly fight the Hamas fighters which are in the tunnels. It has to negotiate the tunnel network, which is a very, very arduous task. And also it will have to go street by street, fighting the Hamas fighters, house by house, clearing the Hamas fighters. So, and in which they're going to suffer major casualties as well. So, it has lost that impetus which it had 10 days back. And now, even if the land incursion takes place, it's going to be a very limited land incursion. So, nonetheless, this is where the situation stands as of now. And so basically, Israel is fighting this war alone, other than support in the form of some arms shipment from some intelligence sharing by the US, uh, and of course on a diplomatic front, countries like India supporting Israel, certain countries globally supporting Israel. It is basically fighting this war alone. And hats off to the nature and character of the Israeli people, the IDF, the nation. They are standing up to it, and they firmly believe they're going to win this war. So this is what the update is as of now. On the one hand, the diplomatic war, and on the other, waiting for a limited land incursion into Gaza, probably Lebanon as well. So let's see how things develop. Till now, this is what the situation is. Please do subscribe to my video. You guys will keep getting regular updates on this Israel Hamas war, and also on other international events of relevance. So till next time, take care. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.